Coach Teresa Ford here, and this is the Guiding You Home podcast. This is a thought-provoking and often humorous approach to moving you closer to the only one who can genuinely help you live a life of abundance and prosperity. Sound good? Yeah, it's you that needs to go within so you can sit in the driver's seat of your life, co-creating with God. So make room for more light and knowledge. As you continue to listen, you will discover elements of how to lead with your inner light, how to act on your specific promptings, and how to follow your spiritual intuition so you can fulfill the measure of your creation. Thanks for being here, and let's dive in. Welcome. Another day. It's another day. I mean, sometimes we think we have to wake up and look forward to something more than just another day. Sometimes we're like, oh, I need something to be excited about, something to look forward to. But the fact that you opened your eyes, can we be grateful for that? You opened your eyes, there's something here for you. There is something here for you to do. I wanted to talk a little bit today about a trust fall. When we trust that everything is working out for our greater good, it's kind of important that we put our money where our mouth is. It's kind of important that we decide that if something falls away, or if we are called to do something other than what we've been doing, or if we're called to do something that is a mission of our higher self, it's on purpose with our life path, that we're willing to do whatever it takes. Now, willing is interesting because willing says that you are going to use your free agency to choose a direction. Decisiveness, being decided, is different than willing. To be decided that whatever comes, you're on board. That there's a lot of trust that goes into that, right? You have to trust that you're in the right place right now today, even if you're struggling. But if you are receiving maybe a prompting, an inclination to do something different than you've ever done before, do not discount it. It's part of your personal expansion. And you have to trust it's the right thing to do. Sometimes it doesn't make sense. Sometimes it doesn't make sense. You're like, ooh, why would I do that? That seems like a bad move if I'm supposed to spend money before I make money, or if I'm supposed to, make a decision before I actually know the details of the situation. Like what is happening in your life where you can see that there is maybe an opening, an opportunity that is calling to you, and you have to double check. Am I putting resistance against it, or am I just going to go with it? Am I going to trust that the things that I want, desire, need to get my needs met is coming, and I have to let go of the outcome, the control, let the other things fall away. It kind of reminds me, what I'm trying to describe reminds me of a landing pad in a rocket ship. At NASA, they have a rocket. It's out on the launch pad, and it has all the supports that go up around the rocket. And when their countdown happens, 3, 2, 1, what happens? Do the supports stay attached to the rockets? No. The supports fall away as the rocket is taking off. So the supports don't fall away before the countdown happens. It's simultaneous. The supports fall away, and the rocket launches into outer space. That's a trust fall. It's interesting because that analogy is going the exact opposite direction of what we think a trust fall is. When we think of, people standing behind us and we lean back without looking to see if they're going to catch us and trust that they will. That's a trust fall. But it's also another means of launching yourself. Letting things fall away that are no longer there to support you. They're no longer there serving you. If they stay there, you will not launch. You'll stay stuck. So if you are where you're supposed to be, in the here and now, you've done a lot of work, you've sifted and sorted on a high level, you've probably battled your way to where you are on a lot of levels with persistence, intention, perseverance, being deliberate in your thoughts and your actions, whatever it has taken for you to get where you are right now, more is coming. And you have to trust that it's moving in your direction because you're calling it to you. It's coming. Like, you can't stay in a cycle of no growth forever. You are here to expand. You're here to evolve. Now, let me give you another little scenario from my own life. So there was a time in my life when I felt unbeatable, unbreakable, unshakable. Like I had some pretty strong confidence. And then as I was thinking about where to take my business and how to improve my marriage and the different things that I wanted in my life, all the support started to fall away, which was literally my countdown. Like, I better start counting down because the supports are going to fall off. And it launched me in a direction that put me not at ease. My certainty was removed with the support systems. And I found myself in this really uncomfortable, unfamiliar floundering in a quest to find out who I was and my life path to follow. Sometimes when we have a trust fall, the engines, we're not aware that the engines are firing. Like, there's maybe a misfire. We're like, oh my gosh, the supports are falling away. Are the engines going to light in time for me to take off in this new direction? And what's interesting is that just when you think you are competent and confident and you have all the courageous and you could do anything, life is funny because it will pull some of the support legs out from underneath you. They'll fall away and you'll not even know that you're in the middle of launching a rocket. You're surprised that you're suddenly orbiting or being launched out into orbit. You're just so surprised. You're like, wow, I didn't even realize, like, am I buckled in? Like, do I have my spacesuit on? Is my oxygen tank full? Like, am I ready for this? And you just get launched, ready or not. And then you're in the middle of this launch trying to figure out how to work all the levers and the buttons so you can fly in the right direction and go discover what it is that you need to discover. It's kind of an interesting concept that way, in that we're not always prepared to launch. When we have a good idea or a new wish enters our heart because the old wish didn't really work out, or it's old news, you outgrew it and it's not interesting anymore, and you're working on a new plan. When that's happening, you may accidentally launch. Accidentally, not accidentally, right? This is a trust fall. We're launching even without being ready. And so when I launched from confident and competent into no man's land, it's been a bit of a rough road where I have had spiritual challenges. I have had a lot of sifting and sorting. Like, all the trauma that I thought I had processed was coming back up again and again and again. And I would have a good day, and then I have a bad day, and I have a good day, and I have a bad day. And in between each of those, my nervous system had to reset. And I'm telling you, it was exhausting. It's just exhausting. But sometimes that is the only way to dismantle your fears and doubts, because when you're in this exhaustive state of processing emotions and this pattern breaking in the brain, when you're in the middle of doing that, it feels like it's never going to end. It feels like you can't get it right. It feels like you're broken. It feels like your happy, hoping heart is losing power, and that you probably don't have enough fuel to get where you're trying to go. That's what dismantling the old you looks like as you venture out into new and unexplored territory. Usually it feels like being in outer space, because you don't really have a landing pad yet. You don't necessarily know where you're going. But I guarantee that you're going to a good place. You're going to a better place. Because whenever we're trying to get somewhere, there is a much deeper life path purpose attached to that desire. You're trying to feel the radiance of your humanness. And the radiance is your health. Everything that keeps you healthy. Your relationships, money, security, uncertainty, the exchange you make for money, the job you have or the career you create, your creative energies of doing something fun, your social skills, like that's your radiance. And when you have a trust fall, you have to trust that your radiance is going to stand up and perform even when you don't know what you're doing. So it may not feel confident, it may not feel fun, it may not feel like confidence, and it feels like your courage is lacking. Don't worry. What was once competent, life will offer you opportunities to become incompetent, and then suddenly you work on it a bit and you learn and grow and gather information and put it to use, and you become competent again. The example for that is that once you were a baby and you had to have somebody else change your diaper, you had to have somebody else tie your shoes, you had to have somebody else get you dressed, you had to have somebody else fix your food. You couldn't do it. You were incompetent. But as time went on and you figured things out, one sunshine day after another, one moon after another, you just went to bed and woke up, and this was a pattern. And you learned to tie your shoes, you learned to get your socks on by yourself, you learned to put your pants on, you learned to stand up and run, you learned to feed yourself, like all the things. Eventually you learned how to cook, how to shop, how to get your food to you in a more efficient way. As soon as you were hungry, you didn't have to wait for mom to fix it for you. Like that's evolution. That's you launching a new rocket of desire. That's you being in outer space in your new rocket, feeling incompetent until you become competent. Like, you may not know how to work all the controls as soon as you launch, but you'll figure it out. You'll push enough buttons and levers to figure out what not to do, so you can push the right ones and you'll know what to do. But don't give up in those really tough moments. You have to trust it is all working out for you. It is coming in its perfect timing. You will know what to do as long as you keep asking for guidance. Ask for direction. Ask, what is it that I need to do today? And I'm going to assume that the good stuff is on its way. I am looking and ready to receive all the good stuff. So in this little conversation when it feels like you have no support, when it feels like the support you had is no longer supportive, when those support systems are falling away. People don't really recognize you anymore. Like when I was going through my transformation of letting go of codependency, I stepped into a place where I felt like I was on fire all the time. Just fire. It just felt like fun and fire. And I just had a knowingness that my confidence was growing again. But in that space, there had to be some willingness, some openness, some receiving of the stuff I didn't know how to do. I'm hoping this is making sense. Just be open to receiving what you don't know how to do. Or if you don't know how this is going to go. That's what a trust fall is, being open to receiving. That's sort of the idea behind standing there and hoping your friends catch you. You're hoping that they are open to receiving you into their arms, right? That's you and the universe working together, that you're going to be like, all right, this is weird. All right, this is unfamiliar. All right, this is different, but I'm going to trust that you'll catch me. And moving forward, when the way is not clear, that's not for sissies. When you're like, I have to make a decision, I have to move forward, and when you've decided that you're no longer available for the other garbage, you will take that trust fall and run with it. You will hop in your rocket, fire it up, trust that you'll figure out the gears later, and just take off. Just get going. Just straight up, ballistic, go. And you'll know, if you have yucky gut soup, stop and reset your nervous system. If you have a hell yes, go. That's your answer. You don't have to wait for any more light knowledge. The hell yes is the light knowledge you were waiting for. And when it's a hard yes, go. Do it. Sometimes when I'm looking for more support, more mentoring, more information about what I'm experiencing, I just get an idea. I should look up. And then when I look it up, I'm shocked. I'm like, there's the answer. I look it up and there's the answer. There's the person I was looking for. There's the mentoring I was looking for. There's the thing that I was looking for. And maybe it's a program. Maybe it's a book. Maybe it's a podcast. Maybe it's, something that's going to give you exactly what you need. I think I've said this before in my podcast, but sometimes I'm looking for an idea or a solution. And so I go looking with my intuition. Does that make sense? I'm not like scrolling. I'm not wasting time. I'm just looking with my intuition. I'm asking, show me where to get this information. And then I just get busy. I just go do my thing. And life is happening. The day is moving forward. And all of a sudden, there's the answer. Like the other day, I was looking for some information and there was a book that showed up and it's called The Mountain Is You. I was like, oh, that is hilarious. That is hilarious because we are all our own and biggest mountains. We are trying to climb up and over the top. And it just had so many answers in it for me. But I got 4 chapters in and then I saw somebody else talking about Marianne Williamson's book, Return to Love, where she's talking about the vulnerability of relationships and that there is a polarity between wanting to share all of you, but the fear of rejection that you might be considered weird or odd or, not a good fit, and abandonment and rejection and all that comes in. That's the polarity of finding safe attachment relationships. Anyway, that fit in exactly with what I was looking for. And then this morning I woke up and I was like, oof, I need someone to kick me in the butt. And I opened up Audible, and there's Jen Sincero's You Are a Badass. You know, sometimes you only need a piece of this thing that you find that has an answer, just one answer, or a couple of answers, but it's not the complete answer. There's very few books that I have bought that I've read cover to cover, just a few. But the answers are coming, and they will come rapid fire when you're open to receiving them while you're doing a trust fall. While you're in the middle of this weird and unfamiliar space. But because this podcast is called Guiding You Home, I want to pull this all together for you, that you are always being guided home. You are being guided to do what you do the way you were meant to do it. Always. Even if it gets uncomfortable, even if it feels like yucky gut soup, even if there's anxiety attached to it, you are still on track. Your path, all the ugly stuff, is telling you what you're not. All the disparaging things you can think of about yourself, that is what is not true. I mean, if you could say it out loud and point a finger at your best friend and say it, or your child and say it, and you feel bad about it, it's not true. That's how you know. That's the barometer. I would never say that to somebody else. But if you say it to you, it's not true, and you're not trusting your process. That however you feel about yourself, it's not true, especially if it came from somebody else and it makes you feel bad. But hey, if you're saying it to yourself and it didn't come from anybody else, stop it. Like, that's not who you are. Meaning, it's telling you what you're not. So then go in discovery of what you are, who you are, what you're here to do. That's a trust fall. I promise. That's a trust fall. To get out there and do what you were born to do. If it scares you, they say if it scares you, you're doing it right. But I say if it brings you confidence and scares you, if there's security and doubt, you're on track. That's where you want to be. It's exciting, but there's trepidation. That's when you know you're going with the flow of who you are. But all this other just doubt and disparaging remarks and, decimating your character, no, that's not who you are, and it's not guiding you. That negative idea about yourself or a negative idea about you that's coming from somebody else is not guiding you home. That's not the trust fall. The trust fall is to do the opposite of those things. To believe you are lovable, to believe and self-accept, sometimes it's to recover your self-worth. When you recover your self-worth, you're on your way to that trust fall that's going to test you when you have more worth. You're going to be like, oh, well, if I have more worth, then maybe I need to be visible. Maybe I will be seen. Maybe I have something to share with other people, because we're not built to do this world alone. You know that. I've said it before. We're here to offer our gifts, and developing those gifts requires the trust fall. And when you become more of the gifts and not the shadows, you just fall in line. That trust fall happens. Sometimes it just feels like you're flying, and other times it might feel like you're drowning. I'm not trying to sugarcoat this, because it can feel really hard. But I promise, when things are getting dismantled and the old stuff is falling away, you have to be willing to say thank you next. You have to be willing to say, okay, I got it. I understand. That thing back there is not good for me. And it's holding me back. It's making me think poorly of myself. It's making me lose steam. My momentum has come to a slow, right? When that's happening, you are not being guided home to who you are. You are being guided when you have these inclinations, these impressions, these impulses, these curiosities, these ideas of being creative, of being a manifester, of being a healer, of feeling the thing that is calling you forward. What is that? What is calling you forward? You might have to dismantle more of the crap to hear the call. Sometimes the crap is louder than the call. But when you do, you will have that fire back in your belly. You will have a desire to move forward. You will have a desire to trust that everything is working out for you, that the timing is perfect, that you're not ever behind, you're not too far ahead, you're not too weird, you're not too odd, you're not too broken, you're not too any of the negative stuff. You're just all the good stuff. And it's just developing those good things, all the good stuff in you by hanging out with the right people, listening to the right message and conversation. Like, get in a place of rightness for you, and that trust fall is going to go a lot easier. You're going to figure out the buttons and the levers of this new space that you're entering, and you can really embrace it and be the pilot that you were meant to be. You've never been meant to sit in the back seat crying because no one's sitting in the pilot seat to guide you home. No. You are in the pilot seat. And you are working the levers and the buttons. You're in charge of what you push. You're in charge of the speed and the regulation of your emotions. You're in charge of that. And the rest is up to the universe, God, the divine. Like, they've got you. I promise. Your angels know you. They are helping you. They're all around you. You're just the blind friend going, I don't know. Maybe they're here. I don't know. Maybe they're not. But they are. They're all with you. And it is your job to focus and move forward, even into the uncertainty. Trust that everything is falling into place right now, and you are exactly where you need to be. Okay? Okay. Go journal it. Journaling is the fastest way to see what's really in your heart. Journal it, pray about it, meditate on it, think about the things you want. And that trust fall is going to be a lot easier because you'll have direction and the guidance will come, and you will find yourself in a new place called home that feels so freaking good. You wish you had done it sooner. But remember, you're right on time, so that couldn't have happened. It's only when you want something new that you know that's the right time for you to have that something new. So, all right. I hope you're having a good day. Please, please, please take care of you, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks for listening. I invite you to leave your feedback and share your aha moments as you listen to this podcast. Also, you can access more information or any of the programs, courses, or worksheets that I've mentioned on these episodes on my website at teresaford.life. Or what I would really love is for you to connect with me on Instagram at teresaford.coaching and on Facebook at Coaching with Teresa Ford, so I can give you more interesting insights and further coaching to help you fulfill the measure of your creation.